Today, we're going to dive into a disease that affects millions of people all over the world, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. And we're going to look at a really groundbreaking new analysis that kind of challenges how we think about treating it. And in the process, it uncovers this hidden life or death connection between our lungs and our hearts.
So, first things first, let's get a sense of the scale here. We are not talking about some rare, obscure condition. COPD is a massive global health problem, which is exactly why figuring out the best way to treat it is so incredibly important for so many people.
And just how serious is it? Well, get this. According to data cited in this very study, COPD is the fourth leading cause of death worldwide. It's this relentless disease that, slowly makes it harder and harder to breathe. But as this new research is about to show us, the lungs, they aren't the only battleground.
Now, this quote from the study really gets to the heart of the matter. It points to a critical and often overlooked fact. For a lot of patients with severe COPD, the thing that sends them back to the hospital again and again isn't just a lung issue, it's heart failure. This is the hidden killer that we're talking about today.
And this brings us right to the central question, doesn't it? It's the very question these researchers wanted to answer. If the heart is at such a high risk, could a more aggressive therapy, one designed for the lungs, also act as a kind of life-saving shield for the heart?
To find an answer, the researchers basically staged what you could call a treatment showdown. They took the most common advanced therapies for COPD and put them head-to-head. Now, to really get what they found, we first need to understand the players in this showdown.
Okay, so the first type of medication is called a LAMA. It's a long-acting bronchodilator. But forget the fancy name. For our purposes, let's just think of this as a powerful airway opener. Its whole job is to make it easier for air to get in and out of the lungs. Simple.
The second medication is a LABA. It works in a slightly different way, but its goal is exactly the same. Relax the muscles around the airways. So this is our second airway opener. Keep that term in your head.
And here is the third and really crucial component, an ICS, or inhaled corticosteroid. Now, this one is different. It's not about opening the airways. It's all about reducing inflammation, that swelling and mucus deep in the lungs. So let's call this one our inflammation cooler.
So here's how it all comes together. You've got two main types of dual therapy, one with two airway openers and another with one airway opener plus an inflammation cooler. And then you have triple therapy, which is the whole shebang. It combines all three. So the big question is, does adding that inflammation cooler to the two airway openers make a life or death difference?
To figure this out, the researchers didn't just run one new experiment. They did something way more powerful. It's called a meta-analysis, which means they gathered up all the best evidence from major clinical trials that already existed and combined it all to get the strongest possible answer.
This chart just shows you how incredibly careful they were. I mean, look at this. They started with nearly 800 potential studies. And after weeding out duplicates, checking for quality, and making sure everything was relevant, they narrowed it all down to just 5 of the biggest, most solid clinical trials. This means their conclusions are based on only the absolute best evidence out there.
They also use this really smart statistical method, which this diagram helps you visualize. It's called a network meta-analysis. Basically, it's a way to compare all 3 treatments against each other all at once, even if the original trials didn't do that. It lets them create a clear ranking of which treatment is best at preventing deaths.
So, after all that incredibly hard work, what did they find? Well, the results paint a really clear picture about the link between lung inflammation and heart health. But there are some really important twists.
All right, let's tackle the first and, honestly, the most dramatic comparison. They looked at triple therapy versus the dual therapy that only had the 2 airway openers, so the one that was missing the inflammation cooler. What was the impact on deaths from things like heart attacks and strokes?
Now, this is called a forest plot, and it might look a little technical, but the takeaway is super simple. Each one of those squares is a study, and that diamond at the bottom, that's the final combined result. The most important thing here is that the diamond is way over to the left of that vertical no-effect line. That means the result wasn't just a little positive, it was statistically significant, a big deal.
And just how big of a deal was it? The numbers are pretty staggering. Triple therapy cut the number of cardiovascular deaths by 48% compared to that LAMA/LABA dual therapy, almost by half. That is a massive effect, and it really suggests that our inflammation cooler is playing a huge role in protecting the heart.
Okay, so that's a huge benefit. But wait a minute. What happens when you compare triple therapy to the other kind of dual therapy. You know, the one that already has an inflammation cooler. Is adding that second airway opener still just as powerful?
And here's where the story changes. The analysis found only an 11% reduction in cardiovascular deaths, and that result was non-significant. In plain English, that means the difference was so small that it could have easily just been random chance, not a real effect from the drug.
So we have this really powerful benefit, but that is not the whole story. As with so many powerful treatments in medicine, there's always a trade-off, right? There's a risk that comes with a reward.
And this right here is the central dilemma. On the one hand, triple therapy clearly saves lives from both heart problems and from all causes when you compare it to the dual therapy without a steroid. But on the other hand, it also significantly increases the risk of a really serious side effect, pneumonia that's bad enough to put someone in the hospital.
This bar chart really makes that risk clear. Compared to the LAMA/LABA dual therapy, triple therapy shot up the risk of severe pneumonia by a whopping 71%. And even when you compare it to the other dual therapy that already had a steroid, the risk was still 25% higher.
It's now this really complex calculation, choosing a therapy that can shield the heart from that hidden killer.
This is probably the single most important thing to understand right up front. For people with severe COPD, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll dig into that hidden killer. Then we'll set the stage for a 3-drug showdown that's at the heart of this whole thing. Adding that third drug, the steroid, dramatically extends life. Okay, so it seems pretty simple, right? Triple therapy for the win. But not so fast. This is where the story takes a really surprising statistical turn. What happens when you compare triple therapy to the other dual therapy, the one that already has the steroid in it? Well, it puts a giant spotlight on one specific drug. It strongly suggests that the inhaled corticosteroid, the ICS, is the real hero here. It's the active ingredient, the secret sauce, that's actually driving that massive survival benefit. Of course, as we all know, there's no such thing as a free lunch in medicine. This brings us to a really critical point, balancing the risk and the reward. You can't talk about all the amazing benefits of a steroid without talking about the well-known downsides. So this is the clinical calculation that doctors and patients have to make. On one side of the scale, you have the risk, a higher chance of a non-fatal hospital stay for pneumonia. This really shifts the goal of treatment from just lung function to reducing mortality, because the evidence shows the massive survival advantage simply outweighs the manageable, non-fatal risk of pneumonia. And this leaves us with one last, kind of mind-bending thought to chew on. If a medicine that you breathe into your lungs can cut your risk of dying from a heart attack by almost 50%, what does that say about the old-fashioned way we think about the body in these separate little boxes? It really forces us to ask a bigger question. How should we redefine the fundamental boundaries between lung and heart disease?